Hey guys, how's it going? I just want to do a little follow-up on the deck list that I won Pittsburgh Regionals with. Went 8-0. Check out my profile in the video in the description. But anyways, I got a whole bunch of questions in my comments on that video, and I kind of just wanted to do a whole nother video to kind of address those and give a little bit more detail on some of my deck choices and some of my theory for how I came to some of these things. So the first question I've been asked several times is about Pot of Prosperity and what do I banish off of Prosperity. Okay, so I want to preface this by saying Prosperity, I only play it when I'm going first. Whenever I'm going second, I side it out every time, and that's because it conflicts with Guardian Chimera. If you activate Prosperity going second, you are locked out of using Chimera's effect, Guardian Chimera's effect, because you cannot draw. And popping cards with Guardian Chimera requires you to draw first. So the benefit from having access to Guardian Chimera is too much. So I always side out Prosperity every time, and it's honestly like a welcome problem because I always have a hard time figuring out what to side out. A lot of these non-engine cards are pretty generic, so having those 3 Prosperity to side out made it a lot easier just off the bat, something I don't even have to think about if I'm going second and Prosperity is coming out of the list. So anyways, in game 1 or in whatever games post side that I'm going first in, what do I banish off of Prosperity? Well, because I'm going first, it's pretty safe to say that I'm not going to need Lingaribo, so that's one. I'm not going to need a Zeus, most likely, because, I usually would make Zeus if I'm going second. If I take something with talents, typically a Rise Heart. If I steal a Rise Heart, I can overlay the Zeus on it and forego activating Branded Fusion just because the Zeus play is a little bit stronger. So anyways, going first, I'm pretty confident I'm not going to need the Zeus, so I'll banish these two. Now, after that, I will typically banish 1 copy of Small Chimera. I very rarely ever go into 2 in a game. So I'm very confident banishing that second Chimera because typically, in order to make this, you need a Beast and a Fiend, and I only run 2 Fiends in the deck, and it's the 2 Baphomet. I'm going to use 1 going into the first Chimera, and then I'm probably going to use the other one as a material for the Guardian Chimera. So realistically, I'm not going into Chimera King very often, so I'm perfectly fine banishing the second one. Something else, Alba Lenatus is usually the 4th target. This is in there only really for Dragon Link, just for the Albaz contact fusion, as well as, yes, a Mirajade dump, but that's much less important to keep it in the extra deck for. So if I'm going first, chances are I'm not going to have to Albaz contact fuse away a Dragon board, so Alba Lenatus can come out. Titaniclad is the next card that comes out because it is really there for Branded Fusion with Albaz and Nib to make a 4,000 Titaniclad unaffected by monster effects. So this is my out to Borderland Dragon. This is my out to Expurly Noir. This is my out to other Towers type monsters that are a problem that I can only run over with in battle. So if I'm going first, chances are I'm not going to need to go into Titaniclad. I'm going to stop my opponent from getting to one of those Towers monsters with my engine, so I'm not going to have to rely on Titaniclad later. So Titaniclad is the 5th target, and the 6th target ended up being Magnum the Reliever most of the time. So the 6 cards on the right here are the 6 that I want to banish off of Prosperity nearly every time. Magnum I just almost never go into. It's kind of just like a very niche card. So I'm very confident in banishing these 6 on the right. I could have been banishing a Mirajade a lot of the times, but I do like keeping 2 Mirajade in, and the reason really is that on turn 1, if I go Branded Fusion into Rinbrum, I'm going to have the Rinbrum Albaz effect in the graveyard for follow-up. So that Albaz can go into 1 Mirajade, and then if I have another copy of Branded Fusion later, I'm going to want the other Mirajade. So it is fairly realistic to go into both Mirajades, so I did want to keep both of those in the extra deck even when using Prosperity going first, and that was totally fine. So yeah, Prosperity, Lingaribo, Zeus, 1 Chimera, 1 Albalinatus, 1 Titaniclad, and 1 Magnum. Those were the 6 banishes most of the time. Another question I got a few times in the comments is, where's the Super Poly? Why didn't you play Super Poly? And so forth. Okay, so my thoughts on Super Poly in this particular deck are that Super Poly is a space for a card that is for going second. You need that space for board breakers. You need that space for generic stuff like to slow your opponent down or whatever. Super Poly is a crap board breaker this format. I've been reading a lot of like Facebook threads in the Chimera group, and it's all like, oh my gosh, Super Poly is so good. You can use it against Unchained if you set it going first. No kidding. Okay, you can use Super Poly setting it going first, but that's so win more. Okay, you have to look at Super Poly as a going second card into a full board. And if we look at the top contenders, we have Chimera, which often just ends on a Rise Heart Pass. You can't Super Poly that away. You can look at Pearly, which ends on Pearly Noir Pass. You can't Super Poly that away. We can look at Unchained, which ends on DDD Xyz plus Unchained Soul of Rage. You can't Super Poly those away. The only real things that you might be able to Super Poly away is a full Dragon Link board with like Borrowland plus Borreload Savage into a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. But really, I'm just counting on my non-engine to stop them from even getting there in the first place. I have Imperms, I have Ashes, I have Nibs, and hopefully they can't get into a full board like that if I am to open one of my 9 hand traps. So with that being said, I didn't think Super Poly really dealt with any of the problems. I was really afraid of Pearly, I was really afraid of Cash, and I was really afraid of Unchained, and Super Poly doesn't do crap against those going second. Yes, you can side in Super Poly going first, but you can side in anything going first and be just fine, and I'd rather side in D-Barrier, Plus, Super Poly costing a card to discard is kind of a hefty cost, to be totally honest, and you really don't want to be Super Polying away one of your monsters plus one of theirs. It's just too neg, and I don't think it's really worthwhile in this kind of mid-range format where there's a lot of follow-up on the board. You need to maintain your card advantage, and using one of your monsters as fusion material is worst case scenario. So that's why I'm not playing Super Poly. On to another question I got a lot is, how do I make Zeus? Zeus is for talents taking an Xyz monster and attacking with it and then overlaying into Zeus. So that's pretty much the only way to go into it in this particular deck, and it did come up in the regional and it did win me a match. So super happy about the Zeus tech. Plus, if you watch the profile, I talked about how flexible this extra deck is, and it's totally acceptable to play a copy of Zeus in that. Another question I got was Droll. Did I miss Droll in the side? Did I miss Droll just for a crossout target? Yes, there was one match where Droll came up and I got Drolled and I lost a game. And then I got Drolled again. I didn't lose the game, fortunately, because I opened all the cards I needed to search anyway. So I only got Drolled once in the whole tournament. Once was in game 1, and I'm definitely not maining Droll this format, and another one was in game 3, and I did not side in a Droll or have a Droll to side in for crossout, and I didn't have a crossout anyway, so it really didn't matter. So I was happy not playing Droll for this particular tournament, and we'll see how the new format shapes up, but I don't know if Droll is going to be relevant or not, and so forth. Another question I got a lot was, what am I going to replace the second Magnum up for in the new format? The answer is probably just a third Druis Worm or a Baldrake. I still want to keep the 4 Bestial count. I think it really helps with the side deck patterns to have 4 Bestials. Plus, just Bestials are so strong, and as I talked about in the profile, Bestials are just a way to put pressure on board that doesn't care about getting debarriered or doesn't care about an anti-spell being put up against you. So I'm probably just going to replace the Magnum with a different Bestial name. Druis Worm is very good against Unchained, so if we see Unchained all over the place, the third Druis Worm is totally acceptable, but if not, if it's just for generic light and dark decks, then a Baldrake is nice because I can use like a spent Guardian Chimera. I can use a Berfomet that I summoned off of Mirror Sword Knight in the draw phase, and I can be kind of all set to go with an extra interruption with that Baldrake. Yeah, that it looks like that pretty much covers all of the popular questions that I got in the comments. on the deck profile video. So hopefully that helps really quick. Yeah. And with that being said, thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm going to try out some new decks soon. Now that I have an invite, I can kind of relax, play some, kind of get back to playing even more rogue decks. This is kind of a rogue deck already, but you know, even lower on the tier list, and get into some of those, learn some new stuff. I picked up a lot of new cards lately, and I'm excited to try out some kind of rogue contenders. So hope you guys enjoy. Consider liking, subscribing to the channel if you want to catch those. I'm still going to do Chimera content going forward, and I also want to get back into just actual pure branded. It's been a long time since I've played that, but I need to learn the combos. I need to learn combos with Quem. I still have not learned any of them, to be totally honest. I haven't played that deck since Cyberstorm Access release. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see on the channel. What decks do you want to see me play? If you guys have been keeping up with the channel, I've been talking about what kind of decks that I've been picking up lately. So which of those do you want to see in particular? I'll try to get to those. And yeah, with that being said, we'll catch you later. Thank you.